What's the dumbest reply to a serious question you've heard? I was a nanny when I was in college for this very bizarre family who always pretended like I wasn't there. I was walking down the street with the mother and her 2 kids. It was February and the sun glare was really bad, so naturally I was wearing sunglasses. One of the kids, about 4, asked his mother why I was wearing sunglasses in winter, and the mother responds, "Well, some people are not that smart and they just want to look cool." Please note, both parents were professors at an Ivy League college. I actually remember my mom making a similar snarky comment. We were in the car, sunny cold winter day. Saw a couple with sunglasses. And she said STH along the lines of "I don't get it, people wearing sunglasses in winter." I looked up and said sunglasses protect against the sun, not the heat. Her face went then like that makes sense, person face palming, fair skin, edit, typo. I wear sunglasses more in the winter because the sun is lower and there's snow glare too. My friend was a second-year med student and she was walking through the main floor of our hospital in scrubs. Stopped by a passerby asking for directions. She was asked, "Hey, where's the PET CT?" She said, "I think there's one in the nearby mall." The man looked at her confused and was like, "The PET CT is in the mall?" She replies, "Yeah, like the second floor I think. It's not called Pet City though, it called Pet World, I think do you think I am looking for a pet store?" 2 years of medical education and common sense returned to her in that moment and said, "Oh my god, no, you mean the scan. It's down that hall on the right, I'm so sorry." He shook his head walking away and we heard him say, "I wish I was looking for a fucking pet store." To be fair, once you hear it as Pet City, you are thinking in those terms. She's trying to answer what sounds like a weird question. "Hey, where can I find the pet food aisle in this hospital?" My high school had a geography bee where one kid was asked what the capital of France was and he replied Spain. Oh man. When I was a kid for some reason I thought Barcelona was in China. When I learned it was in Spain it blew my mind. Same when I learned Egypt is in Africa. And that kid's name, Napoleon Bonaparte. Was in college, and went to the calculus study hall to see if I could learn something. One of the problems was something like a man throws a ball on the moon at a speed of 30 mph at an angle of y degrees. How long before the ball comes down? The response from the TA, PhD candidate in math, "That's a stupid question, everyone knows there's no gravity on the moon." I never went back. I'm an astronomer. Before we were married my soon-to-be wife asked me, "How can there be dust on the moon when there's no gravity?" I asked her in genuine curiosity what made her think there was no gravity on the moon. She closed her eyes and went, "Oh, duh." She keeps bringing it up years afterwards despite my continued reassurance that there are no dumb questions, but she doesn't believe me. I love that woman. Me writing a construction bid, "Is the standard flooring for these units going to be tile or vinyl?" The client, "Yellow." Love it when you give 2 answers as options and a third, unhelpful one pops up instead. If I'm understanding this correctly, they wanted yellow flooring? When accused of nepotism after giving his son an important role as a politician, Brazil's president said he has to be someone's son, "Why can't it be mine?" Truly an argument you can't fight back. I mean, what is nepotism really? Yeah, Bolsonaro? That has to be up there with the time he talked about having sex with chickens. Full disclosure. I was the idiot in this conversation, but in my early 20s, I was at a friend's small gathering. I was chatting with my friend and some dude I had never met before. Asked where he grew up, and he said DC, to which I replied, "Oh, I didn't realize people actually lived there." I kind of knew it was stupid as it was coming out of my mouth. But I also kind of thought that was a district like a financial district and people went there for work but lived just outside of it. Worst part was that even though I was fresh out of college, I was working in a local political office, and these were folks from state legislative offices, so I should have known better. They laughed at me for a while. In my high school physics class, the teacher asked what was the unit for time. This girl screamed kilograms. After that you could see the teacher lost hope on all of us. You measure time in kilograms though. I had a colleague respond to that with meters, and then the teacher proceeded to ask her how many meters passed since she came in class. He was a legend for his sarcastic responses. In physics there's something called the right-hand rule, which helps you find the direction of force given the direction of the magnetic and electric fields. It's a little hard to explain how exactly, but you literally use your right hand as a model. My professor asked me in front of the class what the first thing you needed to identify in order to use the rule was. I panicked, and answered your right hand. I mean, you weren't technically wrong. I had to sharpie an O on my left hand for physics tests and exams. Because while immersed in a problem, and writing with my right hand, I'd instinctively use my left hand for the rule. It was actually me who said the dumb reply. This was when I was younger, just by the way. Texted to me by a friend, "Can I take a rain check?" A few minutes later, I text back, "Nope, no rain." I had literally checked the weather for the day. I was a socially awkward idiot, so. Yeah. Edit, yes. I realize everything is when I was younger. Specifically, this happened about 2 years ago. And yes, I'm still a socially awkward idiot. I was just more of one back then. That's hilarious, and I can't wait to say it to the next person who asks me for a rain check. Hey dude, just a heads up, if a chick ever invites you back for coffee after a date, it doesn't matter if you don't like coffee. In law school we had a free clinic for qualifying and lower income people to come in. We couldn't technically advise them because we weren't barred yet, but we could guide and try to help them through some complex issues they might not have a handle on. One guy came in and wasn't even my case but being done by classmate next to me during a session. The man, dead-faced and scared, would filing for bankruptcy ruin my life? Girl, flustered how to answer, well, it looks like your life is already pretty bad. This thread is supposed to be for stupid answers, that one's golden. I can see the logic of starting like that too. Well, it looks like you are in pretty bad situation, so you may not have any other choice but bankruptcy. Wind doesn't come from the trees? The trees are really sneezing today. We were discussing about Antarctica and some guy casually said, "Stone cold face, you don't actually believe Antarctica is a real place, right?" Edit, some people think it was a joke, I assure you it wasn't. That sounds like something a flat earther would say. Those that believe that Antarctica is actually a wall of ice surrounding everything. A girl I knew in class said she hadn't believed in rainbows since she was 7 years old. We were in high school. At work, a customer asked one of our chefs where the fish comes from. He pointed to the kitchen and said it just comes through that door. I dunno, sounds like a genius answer to me. My mom likes to ask restaurants if the fish is fresh or frozen. Many Chinese restaurants will keep tanks of live fish in the back or sometimes even out front where customers can see. So she asks, is it a swimming fish? Best answer she's ever received, no, it's dead. In school, a physics teacher had asked one of my fellow students, who was holding a presentation on nuclear energy, what is the Hadron Collider in Switzerland used for? The response was so outrageously stupid, I was dumbfounded and cannot believe this happened to this day. She also wasn't joking. Nobody jokes with this teacher because no one had ever seen him laugh, and he was a douche, to create a second sun. Who knew Doc Ock worked at CERN? Why waste time waiting for solar energy from the big sun when we can have our very own small sun here on Earth? Traveling in car down a street looking for a particular shop queue, so which shop is it? A, the one by the tree. Road is lined with trees. But it's not just any ordinary tree, it's the tree. There's trees all over the queue, them driving past a tree that looks like it was designed by Dr. Seuss. Doctor to mom, are you vaccinating your son about 1 year, according to the chart I gave you? Mom, better than that. I am breastfeeding him. This was in India last year. Didn't know this was happening in India too. Oh, this drives me crazy. Yeah, breastfeeding is good for them. But it doesn't prevent diseases. Where do people get that idea? Do they think people dying of these diseases centuries ago were fed formula? Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.